Have you ever felt like your world is falling apart? Maybe you're overwhelmed, feeling stuck, or perhaps even questioning everything. The truth is, every crisis, no matter how painful it might be, has the potential to become a doorway to something greater. But not every crisis leads to transformation. The difference lies in how we approach it. If you choose to lean into the discomfort rather than run away from it and look deeper into what the crisis is trying to teach you, it can evolve into something that's pretty well known in the spiritual community as a dark night of the soul. And a dark night of the soul is something much more than just a rough patch. It's a deeply spiritual process where your old beliefs, your old attachments, your old ways of being in life are all entirely broken down. It kind of feels like everything around you is falling apart. But in reality, it's really just your soul clearing the way for something greater to take its place. And this shift from crisis to a dark night of the soul happens when you stop looking at your crisis as something to fix and instead something to learn from. And I need you to see this process in the light of seeing a caterpillar going into its cocoon. From the outside, it might look like a destructive thing, but on the inside, something incredible is happening. And that's what a dark night of the soul does. It breaks down all the parts and pieces of you that are just not serving you anymore, so you can step into something much more greater. My own crisis became the starting point of my own personal dark night of the soul, and it changed my life in ways that I never thought was even possible until it happened. For me, my dark night of the soul began when I was 18, but my crisis that triggered that dark night of the soul for me happened way before I was 18. From between the ages of 12 and 13, that is when I struggled with an eating disorder, severe acne, and intense feelings of unworthiness. And I thought that if I could just fix my body, everything would get better. But by the time I turned 18, I was so severely trapped in self-destructive habits and behaviors. I was abusing stimulants, fat burners, and laxatives to control my weight, because at that time I was eating a lot more than I used to, and I thought that if I were abusing these and just taking as many pills as I could, that would help keep my weight down, that would keep my figure slim, and I wouldn't need to worry about aggressively exercising for over 3 to 4 hours like I was doing. I thought I had everything under control, but my body was constantly on overdrive and my health was deteriorating in front of my own very eyes. One day after taking my usual X amount of fat burner stimulants, laxatives, pills, I was walking up a flight of stairs and I felt like my heart was pounding out of my chest and it was about to give out on me. I almost blacked out because I lost my breath for a moment and almost fell backwards down that flight of stairs. So I sat down at the top of those stairs shaking, and that was when I finally realized and admitted to myself that if I keep going the same way that I've been going at this, that I'm going to destroy myself. That was my wake-up call to not want to keep doing that to myself anymore. But even though I had that realization in that moment, it doesn't mean the healing was instantaneous. My dark night of the soul was a long and deeply emotional process. It actually took me 2 years from the age of 18 years old to confidently say that I was done relapsing and going back into taking and abusing those pills. And even then, even after those 2 years, my healing journey was not even close to over. I was just at the tip of the iceberg. So every year, as my soul and heart became clearer and clearer, I realized that healing is just not something that you're meant to check off of a to-do list. It's something you got to commit to every single day. The dark night of the soul wasn't just about letting go of the behaviors that were really damaging and hurting me, but it was equally about rebuilding myself from the inside out all over again. And that's a process that is still continuing to this very day. And I don't think that they ever really end. What I learned from my own personal journey is that turning a crisis into a spiritual awakening doesn't happen by accident. It happens when you make a conscious decision to lean into the discomforts, to lean into the truths of why you've been doing things the way you've been doing them, so that you can do the inner work. So I really felt called to share with you the exact steps that helped me be able to do just that, to be able to turn this pain into a spiritual awakening for myself. So the very first step here is to stop seeing your crisis that you're going through as something that's happening to you, and instead start seeing it as something that's happening for you. Ask yourself, what is this trying to teach me? Once you're able to reframe the crisis as being the very thing that you can learn and gain so much valuable wisdom from, you're gonna start to have a little bit of a shift in perspective and also in how you're approaching and viewing the world around you. Once you are able to have that little shift for you, you gotta be able to make space for you to be able to do that reflective work within yourself. To sit with your emotions instead of running from them. Journaling, or even just 1 to 3 quiet minutes of being with yourself and your own energy, can start to really help you understand what's going on beneath the surface of you, what's going on beneath the surface of this painful experience or crisis. And in those exact quiet moments, a dark night of the soul is all about helping you break down those old belief systems and all that gunk that was building over the truest version of you, the most healed version of yourself you could possibly become. Which means this is where you got to be able to start asking yourself, what am I being called to release? What beliefs about myself are no longer serving me? And what is this pain trying to teach me about who I really am? Once you're able to reflect on those 3 huge major questions, this is where you get to make this your comeback story to bettering yourself, to opening your eyes up to a completely different reality, to a completely different way of seeing all these things that have been happening to you and instead have been happening for you. Understanding those things, we're gonna go a little bit crazy. We might feel a little bit cuckoo because maybe we've been stuck in the crisis for so long. Like for me, I was stuck in it for nearly a decade. And let me tell you, when I realized the biggest reasons why, what drove me to develop my eating disorder, I felt like I was absolutely insane. I was SHIT, crazy. I just had all these realizations about my past, my upbringing, all these memories that I repressed, and I was going mad. I was cuckoo. I felt crazy. I thought that I was psychotic, and all those barriers started crashing down. But the lightness, the feeling of clarity, of being able to start putting the pieces together was the most exhilarating feeling I've felt. And that was really where the dark night of the soul began for me. And guys, this isn't something that you have to do alone. Leaning into support is going to be one of the absolute best things you can do to help you continue to build progress for yourself in this journey. And sort of like when I walked up those flight of stairs and I realized that this isn't who I want to be anymore, this isn't what I want to keep doing for myself, I knew that in order for me to hold myself accountable and to start taking the proper steps to keep healing and better myself, I knew I had to tell somebody, because I was trying to quit all that stuff that I share with you that I suffered with my eating disorder on my own before I was 18. But keeping it to yourself makes it a lot easier for you to continue to repress it, continue to put it on the back burner, keep saying, I'll do it next week or the week after that, or I'll do it at the start of the week. I just kept pushing it off until I put myself in a rabbit hole, forgot that I wanted to even get to a place of bettering myself, and I just continued destroying myself even more. So I'm saying having support really does help, whether it's really just journaling and talking to yourself, holding yourself accountable, being able to call yourself out, or for me too, tarot cards were something that really benefited me, or doing oracle card readings for myself, just because it helped me feel like I was connecting to something deeper within me. It made me feel like I wasn't alone. Those are going to be extremely powerful tools to help you stay consistent at this, to be able to make this a real true spiritual awakening for you. Because then after, the thing you got to continue to hold yourself accountable for is taking small aligned actions. Once you gain the clarity, you got to start taking small aligned actions to the life that you want to embody or align with or create for yourself. And it's about showing up for yourself every single day, even if it's in some very small, minuscule ways at the very beginning. Because over time, you'll be able to continue to build from those small things. And over time, they'll feel bigger and better and more grander to, at one point, it might become a whole-on ritual you do for yourself. Those are all signs that you are continuing to step into a newer and more evolved, more ascended and healed version of yourself. And that's all of what a dark night of the soul is meant to help you do. But, and there's a really big, crucial but here, guys. All this stuff that I'm telling you on how to turn this crisis into a spiritual awakening, it can't truly and effectively and 100% be done without being grounded within yourself during the entire process. Grounding is key, very, very key during a spiritual awakening. And I made a video right here to help you guys be able to find the groundedness within you, to help keep yourself stable and secure during your own personal self-growth journey, during your own spiritual awakening process, and during your own personal dark night of the soul. So don't stop your self-growth and bettering yourself journey here. Click over that video now and start taking more steps to help you better yourself and continue your self-healing and self-growth and spiritual awakening journey today. And I'll meet you guys there. Sending you guys so much love.